everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to honorable delegates, esteemed speakers, distinguished guests, and participants from every corner of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the COVID-19 Asian Mediation Forum 2020. My name is Heather Yi, and it's my great pleasure to be the host on this beautiful day. On behalf of the joint organizers, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking your time off your busy schedule to join us here. Now, we hope that the exciting programs lined up for you in this forum will be engaging and most importantly, rewarding at the end of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, this forum has invited renowned experts from across the region, and you'll be learning the domestic, regional, and even international perspective of mediation from the areas of contractual dispute resolution, institutional reforms on alternative dispute settlement, and also the industrial and community mediation response amid the coronavirus pandemic. Above all, we will also be having some exciting prizes to be given away to our 5 lucky winners from the floor today. They will be selected among the audience to receive a copy of the latest contemporary issue in mediation, CIIM, the 5th volume, with a prize worth of $54 sponsored by the Singapore International Mediation Institute, SIMI. So stay with us throughout the forum. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to formally take off our event this morning, it is my great pleasure to invite Mr. President of the AIADR, Professor Sundaraju, to deliver his welcome remarks. Dato, Professor, please.
Thank you, Heather. Your Excellencies, honorable delegates, esteemed panelists, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the COVID-19 Asian Mediation Forum, as jointly organized by the Asian Institute of Alternate Dispute Resolution, the China-ASEAN Legal Cooperation Center, Hainan International Arbitration Court, the Asian Law Students Association Malaysia, and ALSA of the National University of Malaysia, UKM. We hold this event in conjunction with the launching of the AIADR mediation rules. We have got the support of the Asian Pacific Corporate Council Alliance, the Thai-Chinese International Arbitration and Mediation Center, Nanning Arbitration Commission, Legal Plus Sendirian Berhad, the Malaysian Mediation Center, the Hong Kong Malaysia Business Association, the Associated Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, ACCCIM, the China ASEAN Macau Arbitration Association, the China International Mediation and Arbitration Institute Limited, and the Hainan University of China. That's a number of supporters that we have. And they all agree that we should actually focus, which is the thematic focus of this forum, the use and recent development of mediation domestically, regionally, and also internationally amid these difficult times when the COVID-19 pandemic. Our objective is to enhance the understanding of the role of mediation, the importance of mediation rules both domestically and internationally, regionally, and by industry views of the current issues that dispute prevention and settlement comes about during this difficult period. Interestingly, today's forum is not only represented by panel discussions, but we have decided to involve role-play scenarios, and we have used our youngest members of the community, student representatives. They are our future, and we hope to create an awareness of the practice of alternate dispute resolution, besides developing the ADR profession across the nation, and with the notion of inclusiveness of everyone from the young to the old, from region and community. We are indeed privileged and honored that Their Excellencies, the Secretary General of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, His Excellency Professor Dr. Kennedy, and the Chairman of the International Commercial Dispute Prevention and Settlement Organization, ICDPASO, in China, which is a new international organization, His Excellency Dr. Jianlong. And we are also very fortunate to have the Chief Justice of the Dubai International Finance Center Courts, DIFC Court, who is also a distinguished Chief Justice, a former Chief Justice of Malaysia, YABhg Zaki Azmi, for taking their time to deliver keynote speeches for this forum. Thank you so much, Your Excellencies. I also want to congratulate the organizing team, led brilliantly by Ms. Ramit Kaur, and with my colleagues helping them. Of course, I must mention Dato Ricky, my colleagues Apri and Heather, and the young volunteers who have come in. They have worked very, very hard, and I believe that you will see the result of that hard work today. Now, let me present to you the keynote speech of our Secretary General of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, AALCO, His Excellency Professor Dr. Kennedy Gastorn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dato, for concise and meaningful messages. Now, let us immerse with the keynote speech by His Excellency Professor Kennedy Gastorn, the Secretary General of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, also known as the AALCO. As a brief background, prior to his current appointment, Professor Kennedy was a Director of the International Affairs of the University of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and past head of the Department of Public Law of the University of Dar es Salaam School of Law. He was also a member of the National Environmental Advisory Committee in the Vice President's Office of the United Republic of Tanzania. Professor Kennedy Gastorn is an accomplished legal scholar and has co-edited and published numerous research papers and books on international legal issues and regional integration. We are very privileged and honored to have His Excellency Professor Kennedy to deliver the keynote speech for the forum. With that said, let us present to you the pre-recorded keynote speech by Professor Kennedy. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with the growing importance and rising use of mediation amid the pandemic, AIADR has recently launched the AIADR mediation rules under the leadership of Ms. Ramit Kaur Charan Singh. As a brief introduction, Ms. Ramit is a fellow of AIADR and the chairperson of the AIADR Professional Development and Education Committee. She is also the fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrator and an accredited mediator of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrator UK. Ms. Ramit's aspiration are to create awareness, educate, and assist in the advancement of effective dispute resolution in the region to ease commerce and increase productivity. Ms. Ramit is also a co-author of the book on practice and procedure of mediation in Malaysia, which was published by Thomson & Reuters early this year. Without further ado, we will now cordially invite Ms. Ramit to deliver her opening speech and launch of the AIADR mediation rules. Let us warmly welcome the chairperson, Ms. Ramit.
Thank you, Heather. Excellencies, honorable delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all. To the honorable guest, Secretary General of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, AALCO, His Excellency Professor Kennedy Gastorn, the Chairman of the International Commercial Dispute Prevention and Settlement Organization, ICDPASO, His Excellency Dr. Jianlong, and Chief Justice of Dubai International Financial Center Courts, Yang Amat Bahagia Tun Zaki, Tun Azmi. Thank you very much for your very insightful speeches. You have given us a regional perspective of the practice, use, and relevance of mediation in the current day dispute resolution, especially during this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. As the chairperson of this forum, on behalf of the AIADR, the joint organizers, and the supporting organizers, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Asian Mediation Forum 2020. This forum was planned on a very short notice, and it's amazing what good teamwork and shared values can create. From just a thought, we have today a forum representing 16 organizations from all over Asian countries, reaching out to the region beyond. The Asian Mediation Forum 2020 brings together various industries, professionals, organizations, young and old, endorsing the rise of an era where conflicts and disputes are best resolved primarily by way of communication and spirit of win-win. The COVID-19 pandemic have brought about such drastic changes to our lives and the way we interact socially and commercially. At the dawn of 2020, I hope this forum provide a perspective of how we have come out stronger and adapt so rapidly. Mediation is a dispute resolution process which were considered ineffective in the past, and many commercial parties preferred a more litigious approach. When the Singapore Convention on Mediation was adopted in December 2018, no one could have possibly thought that mediation will soon take on the ADR mainstream. With operations of businesses practically at standstill, obligations unperformed, and everything put to stop during this pandemic, mediation were most suited to resolve disputes. To ease the impact of the pandemic on businesses, the Malaysian COVID-19 Act 2020 resorted the use of mediation, and the government set up a special mediation center to provide necessary aid. Similar efforts were seen taken elsewhere globally to help sustain business and economy. Concerted efforts of relevant organizations and institutions are extremely necessary during this time. And this forum has been set up with inclusiveness in mind, offering a platform for all organizations and institutions providing mediation services to come together and share experiences, views, and future outlook. This forum seeks to primarily bring together ADR experts in the Asian region to discuss the mediation practices in the region and its effectiveness during this pandemic. The Regional Corporate Council from the Asia-Pacific Corporate Council Alliance with representation from the Philippines, Singapore, Indonesia, India, and Malaysia will be discussing perspective on contractual performances and dispute resolution concerns. This forum also seeks to obtain industry experiences on the current issues, the conduct of virtual mediations, and updates of current efforts undertaken by the COVID-19 Mediation Center in Malaysia. Mediation is not only for the commercial parties, but also much required by the community to resolve conflicts and disputes between neighbors, small vendors, landlord and tenant, families, social organizations and associations. In Malaysia, I was personally involved in providing mediation training to the Justices of Peace of Penang and the Teratai constituency, which resulted in the setting up of community mediation centers where the JPs and other trained community leaders went on to provide community mediation services pro bono. This forum also seeks to introduce AIADR's role as an institution, facilitating private mediations under the COVID-19 Act 2020, providing ADR services under its rules, including administration support services to ad hoc mediations and arbitrations with a focus on time and cost efficiency. In the final session of this forum, a role play will be conducted by student representatives from University of Gadjah Mada, Indonesia, and young practitioners from CALCC to showcase the application of rules. This session is surely not to be missed. Ladies and gentlemen, AIADR has been active in providing ADR training to professionals in the Asian region, including China, Singapore, and Pakistan. A faculty of experts have been identified to assist in structuring and formulating training programs in the coming year that will meet the current needs and which will take into account innovations and emphasize on maintaining professional ethics. In advancing the government's initiative and the collective understanding that it is best for disputes arising during this time to be resolved by way of mediation, the AIADR moved speedily to offer mediation services to support private mediations for the domestic and regional needs. I applaud the initiative taken by AIADR to facilitate mediations and put in place the framework, facilities, including plans of capacity building by way of mediation training and workshops. The AIADR Mediation Rules 2020 has been carefully structured to ensure that it is comprehensive, anchored on the principles of reconciliation, proposed by the UNCITRAL, ensuring confidentiality of process, impartiality and neutrality, party autonomy, equality and balance of powers, independence of mediator, legality, cost efficiency, and with guided steps to ease lay parties through each of the processes. Having had the experiences of drafting a number of ADR rules in the past, it is my great honor to assist AIADR in the development of its mediation rules. Finally, before I end and before I proceed to launch the AIADR Mediation Rules 2020, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to all those who have supported and assisted in the organization of this forum to make it such a grand success. I'd like to take a moment to thank the team at the AIADR, the China ASEAN Legal Cooperation Center CALCC, the Asian Law Students Association Malaysia, ALSA Malaysia, and ALSA UKM for assisting in the organization of this forum. I am impressed with the dedication and the speed in which everything came together. A special mention to the team at CALCC for agreeing to conduct live Chinese translation services at a very last-minute request. I also like to thank the moderators and speakers for taking some time from your respective busy year-end schedule and agreeing to participate in this forum to share your experiences, viewpoints, and insights. And it is with great pleasure the Asian International Alternative Dispute Resolution Mediation Rules 2020 is launched. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramit, for such a great initiative and steering efforts on the AIADR mediation rules. It was a brilliant speech and we hope to attain greater milestones together. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now go for a short break before the start of the panel discussion. Please join us back at 10:45 a.m. Malaysian time for the panel discussion. Thank you very much and see you soon. Thank you for staying with us. The forum is approaching its end, and I cordially invite the AIADR Vice President and Honorary Treasurer, Dato Quek to deliver the concluding remark of this forum. Warmly invite Dr. Quek, please.
Thank you, Heather. Good evening, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to say a few words at the end of this very constructive forum. On behalf of AIADR, I would like to firstly extend our sincere appreciation to the respected guest of honors, His Excellency Professor Dr. Kennedy Gastorn, the Secretary General of AALCO, His Excellency Dr. Jianlong, President of ICDPASO, Yang Bahagia Dun Zaki Tun Azmi, Chief Justice of the Dubai International Finance Center Courts, for gracing today's forum with their words of wisdom. Their acknowledgement and endorsement of AIADR is indeed a great boost to all of us. This event would not have been successful without the lineup of stimulating panel discussions and the one-of-its-kind virtual mediation roleplay that we have witnessed today. We are deeply grateful to all the distinguished panel speakers and students whose participation have enriched this forum. Our utmost gratitude goes to our joint and supporting organizers, among others, the China ASEAN Legal Cooperation Center, Hainan International Arbitration Court, Asia Law Student Association Malaysia and UKM, and the very man behind the scenes whose enthusiasm and resourcefulness has brought us all together today to engage in this very timely conversation on mediation, the President of AIADR, Dato Professor Suntra Raju. Thank you. I'm certain that various dialogue today's have helped reinforce for us the relevance and growing importance of mediation as a medium to not only resolve, but also prevent dispute in the present and post-COVID-19 era. As mentioned by YABhg H.E. Zaki in his keynote speech this morning, the Malaysian government, in passing its COVID-19 law, is very clear in choosing mediation as a preferred form of dispute resolution for contractual issues arising out of the pandemic. It is hoped that the establishment of a specialized mediation center, which is known as Pusat Mediasi COVID-19, will not only facilitate dispute resolution process in the short run, but also help strengthen the narrative and usage of mediation in the nation in years to come. Internationally, the coming to force of the United Nations Convention on International Settlement Agreement resulting from mediation, also known as the Singapore Convention on 12 September 2020, will surely solidify the role of mediations in cross-border alternative dispute resolution. In line with this development, AIADR is all the more determined and equipped to play its role of promoting ADR practices by providing affordable, accessible, and accredited education and training to the profession across the globe. As a founding member of the International Commercial Dispute Prevention and Settlement Organization, ICDPASO, AIADR will continue its effort to intensify the promotion of mediation with our mediations rule of AIADR, marking a start of this journey. Ladies and gentlemen, the COVID-19 pandemic has, at its best, intensified a common needs in all of us. Now, more than ever, the world needs peace than conflict. AIADR, through its various programs and initiatives, is determinedly on its way to facilitate efficient dispute resolution and prevention. And we welcome with open hands any form of collaborations that will lead us to play a role in improvising ADR practices and facilitating international trades. On that note, I close this forum. Thank you for all our attendees. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Quek, for inspiring closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this forum. We hope that everyone managed to gain valuable insights on mediation, which some would argue as the best tool in resolving disputes out of the multitude of alternative dispute resolution options available. As the saying goes, an ounce of mediation is worth a pound of arbitration and a ton of litigation. Once again, we express our deepest gratitude to the joint organizers, supporting organizations, honorable keynote speakers, esteemed panelists, translators, volunteers, and everyone who have helped in making this forum a success. With that said, thank you very much for joining this forum, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you again on our next event.
Bye-bye.
Bye.